from today's race will be going head-to-head for a winner-takes-all $10,000.
That's going to be great, Jim. And then following that up at 7 o'clock, we have our Speed Sport broadcast. I don't know if you caught it last night. I tuned in. It was a great show. Gave us some highlights of some previous day racing. I'm sure they'll have some great coverage from today's events, and we'll be able to get excited for the Everyman Challenge tomorrow as well. Lots of big names they interviewed, and it was a really cool show.
Yeah, it's Tyler Remery there. We saw him laying down on his side earlier, so good to see him back on his wheels and rolling.
As another vehicle enters Jack North. And we've still got the 2377 stuck down there. And Ricky Johnson has just stuck his head up here and asked whether they could put the subtitles on for Jim and I.
Looking forward to working with RJ tomorrow and on Saturday.
Yes, we've got some great coverage still to come.
Oh, look at this.
That front end looks really stuck in there. Maybe they're just trying to get some height, do some rock stacking. Look, they've let it back down again. So that's probably what they were doing. They were probably using one of your winch style things where you run a front and rear winch and do something funky with the car. And I've seen you going across gorges and things on zip lines and all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, we'd have been gone by now, Ben. Right, now, the other thing to remember, that these vehicles don't have particularly powerful steering. It's not like the 4400 class cars or the EMC cars that we're seeing 4500 and 4800 tomorrow that have hydraulic or assisted steering. These vehicles have a mechanical steering, but with a hydraulic electric pump to help them. So once they get locked into these rocks, it's incredibly difficult for them to turn those wheels.
Absolutely. And
is that the Wickhams there we see? 4972, that is Carl Wickham. Now, we've just had some news about them, haven't we?
Yeah, Jim, we actually said that was the brothers racing out there. But if you see them kissing, don't be concerned, because Kyle is actually riding with his wife.
Now, there's marriage guidance required after this, I'm expecting. Yeah, that's great to see. We keep saying it's a family affair, so it's great to see Kyle and Kaylee out there having fun. As we cut back to Luis Gonzalez. And it's all hands on deck here.
As we see the Wickhams again, up and running strongly.
And this is further up in outer limits. See lots of co-drivers with helmets off.
We still have a fair number of competitors making their way down outer limits. We've got one car facing the wrong way. These guys still have a long day ahead. This is where we've got the cars stuck, just below the 570 that's just come onto screen.
And that's that famous centre rock there.
These guys
look at the size of it.
These guys look like they're going to run that sideline, Jim, that we saw Rich Birch run. So maybe we'll see another competitor push through there, this time a Can-Am X3.
The Can-Am X3 really has been the success story of recent years, hasn't it?
It really has set the pace. We saw Polaris do really well at this event for a while.
Yep.
And Can-Am had a few years where they struggled to get some strong finishes, and the last few years they have just dominated.
Totally.
And phenomenal run from them.
But that drives innovation. We're seeing Polaris now putting together new machines. We haven't got any of those new ones here this year.
I believe we actually had a couple running in some of the more stock style classes with some of the newer suspension designs. I think Sarah Price ran one. So there are a couple of the newer ones out there, but I think they're very early in their racing development. We saw a couple on Saturday in our Toyo Tires Desert Challenge, but they haven't had the time to really develop a race program yet. But it would be cool to see them come out.
What I find really impressive is that they're constantly looking at new technology, like the live valve systems from Fox.
Absolutely.
And they started to bring this into UTVs. This is stuff that we would consider to be really high-end, and here they are putting it into UTVs that you can buy out of a showroom for less than $40,000.
It is amazing, isn't it? And that live valve technology, I've got that in my side-by-side at home, and it really does make a huge difference. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're going to hear a lot more about that on Saturday when we see Lauren Healy's car, which really is the Starship Enterprise of the 4400 class. It's running live valve that's connected to the not only to the shocks, but also to the engine ECU and to the brakes via sensors.
That integration is like nothing else we've seen in Ultra 4, and it's really cool to see him pushing the limits there. And I know he's done a lot of work with the Ford engineers as well, and gets a lot of support from them, as well as the Fox engineers, and a couple other people in his program have done a lot of work there, and it's really cool to see coming into our sport.
We've got things that really drive innovation. One of those is war, the other one is racing, and it's just so good to see.
We're getting a bit of a tour of your favourite trail, Jim, her problem. And if Dave Cole's ever short on racetrack, you can see there's still many more places we can go at this place. There's so much rock out there. Shadows are really starting to set in there now. We've found the car 96. They've got the co-driver out, trying to spot themselves up this little hill here. That is Kyle Anderson. He's in one of our UTV stock NAs.
Yeah, looks like he's got a problem there, possibly a flat. Or maybe high-centered. It's hard to tell as the shadows lengthen and the sun starts to go down here in Johnson Valley. And here we are back in outer limits. Looks like we've got some vehicles moving again, but it does look like 519 is actually going the wrong way up course. So perhaps they're broken.
I wonder if he's just decided to call it, and rather than drop down that bottom bit and just cluster it for everyone else, he's turned around.
Yeah,
I'd suggest
he has a broken front differential because he's digging hard with the rear but not moving at the front.
Yeah. Tough day for those guys.
Yeah, the front differentials can be a frailty on these small vehicles.
Still have a couple of cars stuck down there. They're looking for some alternate lines there still. Looks like they've got past that pinch rock. They've moved the 2377 down just a little bit more.
Yeah, I think Daniel Waller, he's been trying to help now Luis Gonzalez for quite a considerable amount of time. It looks like they are actually going to be making their way out of there. You can only be a good Samaritan for so long. And then you've got to get on with your own race. Now we're just hearing on our PCI race radios that some of the guys who are stuck in outer limits are actually deciding to take the option of turning around, going out the top and taking a DNF on the course, as they don't want to get caught out on these trails in the dark.
It's a long and lonely night if you get stuck out here. It's a long way from town.
And let's not forget, a lot of these guys are going to be racing tomorrow, or they're going to be racing on Saturday.
Yeah, a lot of guys do use this as a pre-run for the other events of the week.
We love you.
Looks like he's made the pass though, inching his way down. Oh, bit bound up there. Not sure the front locker's on there. We've got a lot of load on that front right CV there.
Yeah, you've got to be so careful. The CV joints on these vehicles are proportional to the size of the vehicle. And let's not forget, we keep putting bigger and bigger tyres onto them, and so we're loading them up. Thankfully, we've got great companies like RCV who make upgraded shafts, upgraded CV joints that allow these guys to race at this kind of level.
Absolutely, but you still want there to be a fuse. when you're really abusing a car, you don't want to blow the diff up.
That's
so
true.
having some level of fuse in that axle shaft, there's an element there that needs to be considered, because otherwise it can get quite destructive to the rest of the drivetrain.
That's racing though, Ben. What we do is we find our limits, we fix that, then we find the limit of the next part, and then you fix that. There's the evolution. There's basically 4400 in a nutshell.
Absolutely, and we've been learning that for years.
See Thomas Ram in the background there trying to pick his way past Luis Gonzalez.
Yeah, it looked like that 570 is only got 3-wheel drive, maybe something wrong with the front locker there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of wounded cars in outer limits.
It's been a long day for these guys. They've been in here for a couple hours now trying to get past this, and they've still got a fair way to go if they're going to keep finishing this course. Okay, we've got a couple of competitors coming down the bottom of Jack North.
Yeah, we saw that car just catching really fast then, but he's just backed off. So whether he's changing from high to low or low to high. And we got flags a-flying.
Yeah, they've got their buggy whip antennas.
That's a 932 of Ruslan Yankovic.
He is our
sure I got
youngest
that wrong, so I
competitor
do
here this
apologise.
week. Raced in the Toyo Desert Challenge and turned back up today. He was being interviewed last night or this morning, I heard him, and young bloke out there trying to get his first finish here at King of the Hammers.
Oh, we love stories like that. It's absolutely fantastic. Well, as the action continues here at the 2022 Can-Am UTV Hammers Championship, presented by Progressive Engineering, Insurance even. Engineering, where did that come in? We're going to cut to a short commercial break. The action still continues if you're on the premium package, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thankful to have VP Fuels on board.
UTV 96 is like perfect in these things, makes them rip.
It ran cool, it ran strong.
We got into those rock sections where we really needed that throttle response, and it was right there every time.
We run all VP lubricants. We haven't had any problems with any kind of leaking or any kind of heating issues.
And in the state frosty, no drama, temperature stayed under 200 the entire race.
The Ford Bronco is back, And 4 Wheel Parts is your Bronco aftermarket headquarters. Whether it's a wheel and tire upgrade you need or an all-out overlanding build, 4WP's expert staff and lineup of in-stock products are ready to help you do your Bronco right. Build your Bronco at one of our 100 stores nationwide or shop online at 4wp.com/Bronco HQ.
Sorry?
Okay, and welcome back to the UTV Hammers Championship presented by Progressive Insurance. It's 2022, we're back in Johnson Valley. It's a beautiful day, the sun is shining, although it's starting to go down over the backs of those hills. But we've still got nearly 100 racers out on course. Now, Ben, we've just had some information about our grudge match. Tell us what's happening.
Absolutely, Jim. This is getting exciting. The top 20 have started prepping their cars. They had from 4 o'clock to work on their cars to get them ready for our grudge match. We've made a couple of little changes to the Hammers Championship that's still finishing up. We've just moved the finish line outside of town so that we can safely run the grudge match on our qualifying course. So we will keep bringing finishers in. They'll be escorted down the side of the track. We'll get them in safely and get them back into Hammertown. And at 5 o'clock, we will go live with the grudge match. But you want to know who's in it? Well, the answer there is we will have that for you at 4:30. We will announce the top 20.
So just to be clear, at 4:30 we will have the official top 20 who'll be racing for $10,000 at the very first Can-Am UTV Hammers Championship grudge match. Winner takes all, and I cannot wait for this, Ben. It is going to be super exciting.
And Jim, whilst the grudge match is really cool, let's not forget the main event here. The Hammers, the Can-Am Hammers UTV Hammers Championship. We're going to celebrate our top 20, and we're going to bring our top 3 up on the stage after the grudge match. As soon as the grudge match is over, we're going to award some prizes. Dave Cole's going to sign some big checks, and we're going to have a bit of a party.
Fantastic. On top of that, we've also got Austin. I'll spit my words out in a minute. Austin Jones is going to be joining us on stage as well. Of course, he won in Dakar earlier this year, and he's going to be coming up and telling us all about his Dakar experiences. So we've got a really jam-packed couple of hours for you. Do not go anywhere. Stick around for this. It's going to be incredibly special as we pop back to Her Problem and more action in this race. That's the 419 there of Michael Garcia picking his way through.
He's in Her Problem.
It's his problem at the moment.
Most absolutely. And we go back to Outer Limits. Still trying to get some cars past there. We've got another 3-wheeling car there, the 589.
Oh, we see some guys here. They're passing tools and spares out.
That's Thomas Ram in the blue car, center of screen.
And Tim Monahue there in the background in a 1000 car. Now, I wonder what he gave over to Luis Gonzalez there.
So, Jim, I got something really exciting for you.
What you got for me, mate? What you got for me?
AJ is about to bust his way into the booth and tell us about Dakar. I'm going to let you ask him some questions, maybe do some commentary with him. So I've been Ben Napier. I'm going to leave you with Jim, and he's got AJ joining us shortly.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ben. It's always a pleasure to be with you here at the booth. And I'm now going to get to talk to Austin Jones. He's just going to put the mics on as we continue to watch the action at Her Problem. It's been an awesome day of racing here at King of the Hammers, and that's why we come here. Let's not forget the racing started right back this Saturday last week. And it's not going to finish until Saturday this week, culminating in the 4400 main King of the Hammers race. And joining me in the booth now is the one, the only Austin AJ Jones. winner of Dakar in his class this year.
Yes,
AJ,
sir.
welcome to the booth, my friend. How are you?
Doing really well. Yeah, having a good time out here at Hammers.
So is this the first time at Hammers here for you?
Yeah, I've tested out here a couple times, but never actually been out for the race. So it's wild.
So what do you think?
Yeah, there's a lot going on, that's for sure. I don't know how some of these cars are getting through some of these trails out here in the rocks. It's insane. And all the people here and everything, it's insane.
It is absolutely crazy. Now, talk to us a little bit about Dakar. Dakar's a very different race. This is arguably the toughest one-day race, but Dakar is 14 days of race action, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, so, I mean, it is really, really hard. Got to be consistent the entire time, just out there living in the desert the whole time and going and having to race every day, do a liaison every day. Yeah, it gets pretty tough.
Now, you're not just racing for a few hours each day at Dakar. I mean, you really are. I mean, what time are you getting up in the mornings?
In the mornings, we're usually up around 5 to 6, around there, depending on what the starting time is. And then, I mean, we could finish as late as possible. I mean, like probably 10 p.m. or something like that. So you're going all day, every day.
So, and the thing is that you're racing out in Saudi Arabia, so automatically everyone thinks it's really hot, don't they? But that's not the case, is it?
No, that is not the case at all. That's definitely what I thought the first time that I went to. But it's crazy. As soon as you get up, like inland into the mountains and stuff, it is freezing up there. I mean, like the liaisons in the morning and on the way back, full jackets, as many clothes as you can wear, and yeah, it's freezing. So
I mean, when we're talking about doing all these racing and you're in the cars for that many hours, I mean, are you dealing with your own nutrition and your own, food, drink and stuff like this? How do you prepare for that?
Yeah, definitely. We run Camelbacks in the cars, so we're drinking water the entire time, a couple extra water bottles and stuff. And then really just snacks, like candy bars, a couple nuts, really whatever you can get in.
I bet your nutritionist loves you.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. Shove it in your helmet.
Now, the interesting thing is Dakar is always considered a very European race, although it actually happens in Saudi Arabia. Now, you're taking a very American approach to this race. So you're running an open windscreen vehicle, so there's no windshield, which is quite common for European-style racing.
Correct.
You're racing in that kind of what I'd call an American style of desert attack.
Yeah.
And it's working really well for you. So you're planning to go back again?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely working out. We've had a really good year this last year, and this Dakar obviously was good for us. So, yeah, everything's working out well. It's definitely a trip being like one of the only Americans over there, the only American driver for the most part. So,
but you're not just Americans racing in Dakar. You're Americans racing the FIA Cross Country Championship.
Yep.
And if I'm right in thinking, you actually won this year or last year's championship.
2021. So
2021.
Yeah,
last year's championship.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible. So, you won your class in Dakar and you won the FIA Cross Country Championship. I mean, you should be very proud of that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was our goal. We were going to do as well as we could in the championship. We ended up getting 3 wins over there, in a 4th or something like that. And so we got the championship, and then obviously the goal switched to Dakar, and we wanted to try to win. And yeah, we got away with that one. So it was not too bad of a year for sure over there in the rally raid.
Well, what we need you to do is we need you to continue a run of great driving, win this year's FIA Cross Country Championship, but what we do need is you to come here next year and race at King of the Hammers.
Oh, 100%. I've already talked to a couple people about it. We're getting a car. We're probably going to start a car when I get home. So, yeah, I definitely want to come out. I want to try it, go pre-run, be up here the whole time. So, I'm stoked.
Fantastic. Now, we've got the Grudge match coming up at 5 o'clock. Have you heard about this?
Yeah. Someone was telling me about it earlier. It was for like 10 grand, right?
10 grand on the hand. So we're going to be lining up the top 20 cars. We're still waiting for official confirmation on the runners and riders for that. We're going to line them up in reverse order, short course style. So we're going to be going 2 abreast with a rolling start, and we're going to throw them out onto our qualifying course. 4 laps, winner takes all, $10,000. You've got to come and have a shot of that next year, surely.
I was going to say, that's the one that I want to do for sure. Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. That'll be cool to watch for sure.
Yeah, hang around as well, because later on tonight we're going to be having music over on the main stage, and the fire pit out in front of us is a great place to be hanging out.
Awesome.
But we're just looking back here at the action. I mean, just talk me through what you're seeing here. I mean, this is outer limits. A few years ago, these were the trails that we put in to slow down our 4400 class cars.
Yeah.
And now we're throwing these UTVs down there.
Yeah, it looks like this guy's about to get through it as soon as he gets going the right way with his front tires. But yeah, dude, I mean, we don't do a lot of this over in Dakar, so this is definitely, it's wild to me. I've never really done any rock climbing stuff besides for like some little trials down in Mexico and some in rally, but this is another level. These guys are crazy.
It's a different thing entirely.
Oh, for
So,
sure.
so next year we're going to see you in trophy trucks, in T1s, and then maybe having a play out here, or is it going to be all UTV?
I'm not sure. I mean, I love driving the T1s, you know what I mean? So I'd love to maybe do both, maybe just the Can-Am. Not sure yet, but we'll see.
Go pre-running in the T1. They see, there we go. Now, as we look out across this images of Hammertown here, this is the biggest King of the Hammers on record. Just look at this. There is campers and RVs as far as the eye can see in every single direction. We've got that wonderful Star-Spangled Banner there right above our short course, and we can see all our grudge match entrants lining up down there. They're all currently working on their vehicles and getting ready for that 5 p.m. start, which is just a little over half an hour away.
Nice. Yeah. I really like the style that they're doing this race too, like how, you know, you don't go back to the pit or anything like that for very long. You stay out basically for the most part, and it's a little bit more like rally.
Well, the reason they're doing that is so that we don't get the factory teams getting that advantage, because this is all about racers being able to build races at home, come here and race against the big dogs, and that's what we're doing. So by having this limited time period for them to work on their vehicles, it stops those big guys having that advantage, and I think that's really crucial and part of the ethos of King of the Hammers.
Yeah, 100%. I like that a lot. I think that's cool that anyone can come out and anyone can do well, and you don't need the most budget or anything like that. You're dialed. So yeah, it's awesome. It's really a nice event that we got going on.
It is. As we just watched the 118 there of Matthew Wolverine trying to take a funky line there at Chocolate Thunder.
Oh, no.
And the trouble with trying to take funky lines is they sometimes don't work.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, he's bailing out.
Yeah, you've got to work your way. Now, this is one of the trails, very, very famous trail, Chocolate Thunder, but it's changeable. So you'll go in there one day and you see it like this, and then what happens is in the evenings, the trails close down, we get recreational wheelers go out there, have a play, and the next day you go back, it's completely changed. And that makes King of the Hammers so incredibly different to everywhere else that you might race.
Yeah, that's so crazy. That's what Bryce was telling me. I was talking to him a little bit ago, and he said from pre-running to after everyone goes out at night, it's completely different when you come back around every time.
Totally. And then if you have a storm come through in the evening, all of those whoops and ruts totally change as the sand backfills the holes, and it sort of becomes more like Baja again.
Yeah, there you go.
So in front of the 1118 there is Christopher Branton on those USD stickies, trying to pick his way through. And also 419, looks like he's got a winch line on one of the course workers' cars.
Yeah, I was going to say, this dude's hooked up to this car over here.
Yeah, this is one of our course workers there that you see in the top of the screen. The course workers are there to assist these guys to get out of trouble if they're hooked up. They can't assist for no good reason. There has to be a reason behind their assist, but you don't get disqualified if a course worker's helping you, but he can't give you spare tyres, he can't give you fluids or anything, but if it's a quick winch pull just to get you out of the way, that's allowed.
Nice, that's cool.
We want to keep a nice flow on this course. What we don't want to do is have a backup and big traffic jams. We want these guys to be racing.
That's what I would think would happen, just a huge bottleneck and everyone gets stuck. So yeah, that's a really good idea to have those guys out there helping out.
Yes, Thomas Ram there, still making his way through. See him just disconnecting his winch.
It seems like the navigator literally spends probably 85% of the race out of the car.
Yeah, it's incredible. Now this is interesting. 2377, Luis Gonzalez, he's got his helmet on. Is he on his way? He's moving, fantastic. He's been stationary now for at least an hour, so this is great news. He just wants to be pulling on that winch at the same time. Bit of winch and drive, drag himself around these huge rocks. We can only surmise on what his problem might have been. We saw somebody handing him something earlier. Whatever it was has fixed his problems and he's moving again, so that's great news there for Lewis.
That dude's out, he made it.
Yeah, 118 looks like he's tying himself in knots as Matthew Wolverine. Warraven trying to pick his way a new line. And up there is the pivot rock that Ben Napier was talking about earlier. It's hard to see. Oh! And those USD stickies have just found a whole load of traction. But our course workers are on hand. They'll have him back on his wheels in no time.
That's so wild.
Now, AJ, we're talking about the cross-country championship. Where's your first race?
This year we're going to be in March in Abu Dhabi. So that'll be the first one coming up here.
Fantastic. And what's it like racing in Abu Dhabi? Is it very similar to Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, it's kind of similar because it's the same, same general region of the world. So it's kind of similar, but Abu Dhabi is 100% dunes. So there's really no rocks at all.
And is that similar to anything? I mean, obviously you have a lot of dunes here at Clamis and places like that. Is it similar to that, or is it a different kind of sand?
It's different. First off, they're way bigger. Like everything, it looks like one of those mountains back there. I mean, just massive piles of sand, and as far as you can see, just big piles of sand. And they've got this nasty drop on the back end of them. Like, they're all cut at the back, and we call it the Middle Eastern drop because in the Middle East, all those dunes have it. And it's so sketchy. You'll be cruising, and you think everything is straight, and then come up, and it'll be a 30-foot drop or something like that.
Wow,
yeah,
that's amazing.
Super
so if
hard.
people want to follow you and follow what you're getting up to in the FIA World Championship, how do they do that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm on Instagram. You can follow me at AJJones.79. And yeah, I would say check out Method Race Wheels on their Instagram. Monster Energy posts some stuff. Can-Am Factory. So I would say check out all of those, and those guys are all pretty good at staying up to date with what I got going on. So yeah,
fantastic. How many races do you have in your championship this year?
This year there's 5. Yeah, 5. And they added Dakar, so Dakar was the first round, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we saw, for anybody at home who was watching Dakar, you'll see that every night they're awarding points and they're awarding win trophies for winning points in the FIA Championship, which is something new for Dakar.
Yep. Yeah, so this year, like, stage wins meant a little bit more because then you get the medal and then you get more points, obviously, for the championship. So, yeah, it was important to try to win a couple stages or at least podium in a couple of stages this year so you get more points to carry over to the next races.
And still Matthew Woolraven here trying to make his way up across Chocolate Thunder, taking that alternate line to the right, while our course workers try to right the other car. And all the time we're getting closer and closer to that 5 p.m. and the start of our grudge match here in Hammertown. I can't wait for that. 20 of the very best fighting it out for $10,000. And that looks like Brian Deegan there.
That's right.
Friend of yours, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian Deegan, of course, we saw him having troubles earlier, out on course with Terry Madden. He gives us a big smile. And heading up towards the Bronco Arch now. Just waiting for confirmation as to who this is. They pass through and they see those last 2 turns. It's going to be one of our final finishes before we move the move the finish line out further into the desert so that we can do our grudge match. And that looks like that is Brian Deegan and Terry Madden there coming into the finish. Oh, going very high up on the berm there. I think he's showboating for us, isn't he?
Oh, for sure.
Great stuff, Brian Deegan. He's actually the first time he's been here to King of the Hammer, so that's an amazing achievement to cross the line. Looking forward to hearing about their stories out on the trail. Terry always seems to be the centre of lots of different trials and tribulations. We saw him earlier with a fuel can strapped to his back, running through the desert like a superhero. Oh no, Lewis has got his helmet off.
Yeah.
He's not having a lot of luck today, is he?
Oh man.
Now, the vehicle that you're racing, it's obviously a Can-Am. Is there any similarities to the vehicles that we're seeing out there today? The kind of vehicles that sort of like Carl Cheney, Hunter Miller are running?
Right, yeah, there's some similarities. I mean, the suspension, all of that kind of stuff is basically the same. No matter what kind of discipline you're doing or what you're racing, the suspension's kind of similar. So all the plastics and all that kind of stuff, the interior, similar. So yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So very similar technologies, just done in slightly different ways.
Yeah, definitely. Europe's they do things a little bit different than we do over here in the United States. Everything's a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are running 35.
Now,
right?
I mean, obviously Dakar has its own strange little phobies and rules and restrictions. So do you have to run any engine restrictors out there?
Yeah, there's a huge restrictor that we have to run. I'm not 100% sure on the diameter of it, but yeah, there's a huge restrictor that we have to run on the car, so that really drops a lot of power.
Yeah, so it makes a big difference. So these guys here, they're running absolutely unlimited. They can actually go for it. So preparation is completely different.
Yeah, definitely. Driving style is a lot different because you just don't have as much acceleration to get on top of stuff, so you got to keep momentum like crazy. Like barely ever hit the brakes really.
That cannot be fun. That cannot be fun in the dunes.
No, it's not. Yeah, it gets a little bit sketchy.
Right, so Lewis is back out of his vehicle again, which is sad to see. I thought we were going to see him on his way. And some of our backroom staff are suggesting that he might want to put a for sale sign on the vehicle. How dare they? Oh, we've got 2 rollovers now. So Matthew Wolverhaven, he couldn't make that line quite work for him, and he's taken a tumble as well. Legs in the air for everyone. So that's Tim Monaghan there in the 1000 car. He's going to need to change his winch point. We spoke about it earlier. When these co-drivers get out of the vehicle, they aren't actually able to talk to their drivers, or the co-drivers aren't able to talk to the drivers because they're disconnected from their intercoms. And that makes it very difficult indeed, particularly when they're wearing helmets and they've got quite loud engines. So they have to use hand signals and it can become quite fraught. Oh, here we go. This is Matthew Wolverhaven and his rollover at Chocolate Thunder. Looks like he came in, he gave it a bag of commitment, and it just didn't quite work out. Now, while we're watching the action here, I'm just going to roll back through our potential top 20 for tonight's Grudge match in order that they came across the line. As I say, this is unconfirmed at the moment, but let's just run through it real quick. We have Kyle Cheney, Brock Hager, Hunter Miller, Paul Wolf, RJ Anderson, Cody Martin, CJ Greaves, Mitch Guthrie, Brandon Sims, Phil Blurton, Brian Stone, Cody Miller, Michael Park, Bailey Cole, Joshua Smith, Carson Atkins, Philip Rowe, Justin Jones, Brian Crofts, and possibly Jason Weller. Now, this might change. As I say, this is unofficial at the moment, but that's what I'm reckoning the lineup could be. And what a race it'll be. Let's not forget, Brian Crofts, who's potentially in 19th position, will be on the front row of the grid, and we know how fast he is, as he is our pole setter in 4400 class. Did you get a chance? I don't suppose you saw any of the qualifying yesterday?
Yeah, definitely. I watched most of it on the live stream on the way up here.
Just how incredible is that? The
Yeah,
most incredible, or
ridiculous.
one of the most notable things, is that we have 3 UTVs in the top 10 of our 4400.
Oh, no way. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, we saw
Yeah.
Paul Wolf. He came out. He was, in fact, first car on track, and his time held for 6 hours until Brian Cross and Jason Shearer beat him in the final hour.
Wow.
I mean, the evolution of these UTVs is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the things that, I mean, just this right here, what we're looking at, I mean, the things that these cars can go through is ridiculous. It's amazing. I mean, you can be here in these huge rocks in Johnson Valley, or you could be in the biggest dunes in the world in Saudi Arabia in Abu Dhabi. So, I mean, it's insane what these things can do. They really, really have come a long way.
Indeed it is. Austin Jones, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here in the booth, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming up here and telling us all about your experiences. And so I've been watching Dakar for all my life, and to watch you this year was humbling. My young man is going to be dead jealous that I'm sat here chatting to you. It's been absolutely brilliant. So thank you very much. Enjoy the Grudge match tonight, and good luck for your FIA World Championship, and I look forward to seeing you on the TV soon.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much for having me in here. This was awesome, and thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure.
Right on. See you, man.
Austin
Thank
Jones,
you.
everyone, please give him a hand. Right, as Austin moves over, we're going to have another superhero joining me now. Ben Napier, all the way out of Australia. Ben, how we doing?
Thanks, Jim. Great stories there about Dakar. It's phenomenal what those guys go through.
Yeah, it's a legendary race.
They,
but so is this, and we are privileged to
absolutely.
be here watching the action.
I don't know if you know, but halfway through, or in the first half of Dakar, they have this stage where they have to not have their whole crew work each night, and they have to fix their own stuff. Just one night of the Dakar, they camp out at a different camp. They have to carry all their gear with them. They have to fix their vehicles or motorbikes to race the next day.
Day 6.
Day 6. So what we have going on with the Grudge match is actually really similar. We've got drivers and co-drivers down in our pit area, and only those guys are allowed to work on their vehicles. They don't have all their pit crew, they don't have all their resources. They've been able to walk over to their camps and grab a couple of tools and parts maybe, but they are on their own to get this sorted. So really cool that we've brought that to King of the Hammers. They've had that little bit of impound time with the vehicles locked up. They're working on them now feverishly, ready for a 5 o'clock start.
They are indeed, I can't wait. But look at this!
Wow, it's moving!
Lewis has finally moved it through, fantastic news! Oh, he must be feeling good. Now, is he just moving it to get it off course, or is he going to try and actually get it off of course and get it out of there?
Well, I think, Jim, based on the time, he's just going to keep going downhill and just try and get out of outer limits.
But he's only moved a vehicle's length, but...
And I'm not sure where his co-driver is either.
Well, his co-driver could have gone off course to get spare parts.
That might be him walking across the rock above that other vehicle we're seeing trying to get unstuck. And that vehicle 1000, Tim Moyner, that looks like a Can-Am Defender. Not what we normally see racing out here, but just goes to show if you've got a side-by-side, you can bring it out here and you can race with us. This is not one of their race-bred X3s that we've seen dominating the event.
Yep.
This is a little detuned, a little bit more recreational focused, but Tim's built it into a race car and he's brought it out here and thrown around this course today.
Exactly. Just look at the rock he's winching to. Has he just got enough purchase there? It's just a little bit more on the winch. There we go. Nicely done there. And every time you cross one of these rocks, it feels like a victory.
Absolutely. They are earning it today. They are really earning it every mile, every centimetre.
Okay.
Oh, Chocolate Thunder. We have some issues.
Yeah, this is Matthew Walraven. He saw a line, he took the line, he failed the line.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that's worked for him.
No, it's a shame. Unfortunately, at the time, he was trying to find a way around a car that was also stranded. He committed to a harder line, and sometimes that just doesn't work out for you. So it looks like they've moved the course worker's car to the high side, and hopefully they'll have him back on his wheels very soon.
You know, Jim, this happened to me several years ago. We were racing up Sunbonnet. I turned up there and Tony Pellegrino was having a bad day, was stuck in one of the lines there, and there was this side hill, and I looked at it and I asked my co-driver, do you reckon we can do that? And someone yelled out, Shannon Campbell just did that. So I grabbed a gear and I high-bowled it round this, and I fell sideways like that and ended up exactly like that. And the crowd yelled out, Shannon did it faster.
Yeah, hindsight's a wonderful thing. So we see there the 4046 car. It was rolled on its side how many moments ago. Upright and moving on, but we're back to outer limits. And we can see now that the shadows have gone and it is noticeably getting darker.
Yes, that gentleman won't be needing that hat. He'll be looking for a beanie pretty soon.
It's a very smart hat, isn't it?
Looks like Tim's almost down this line.
Yeah, Tim's just putting his winch away. Hopefully he'll be making his way through. This really is probably the last gatekeeper in outer limits, and he can pick his way down through the rest of the trail.
So these guys in Chocolate Thunder, all continuing as well as possible as it could for them. We should see them in Hammertown in an hour and a half. Dave Cole's been on the operations radio. Anyone who finishes up at our new finish line that we've had to put in will still be paraded down the short course, and we'll bring them into Hammertown and welcome them home like the heroes that they are.
Absolutely. Now we're just looking here at the Chocolate Thunder, and you'll see that course worker on our left-hand side. What they're actually doing is quite a smart recovery. So they're running the winch out round the pivot rock, round the back of the pivot rock, and then to the underside of 118 Matthew Walraven, and then they're going to flip him back onto his wheels. So some nice thinking there.
Yes, I think they're using as many Warn and Factor 55 products as they possibly could there.
Advertising at its best. As we see the vehicles picking their way through outer limits. And that is Luis Gonzalez making his way out. Oh, this is great to see. And he gets a round of applause. Oh, I'm so happy about that. He's had a terrible day so far, hasn't he? Let's hope he can sort it out.
Yeah, if I was him, I'd be getting out the bottom of that trail and probably heading back to camp and trying to find a nice cold one, because he has a lot of race course to go. Not sure that's achievable in the time that this course will be open this evening. So he might be out of it, unfortunately, but we've still got some competitors at Chocolate Thunder that are pushing for that finish.
Yeah, we've got the 40-46 there of Crispus Branton. We saw him on his side earlier, so good to see that he's up and moving. As we watch Matthew Walraven there, they're trying desperately to right his car.
And we've got Garrison Callaway in the middle in the 1914. They look like they're getting back in. They'll strap in, put their windows nets up and push out the top of Chocolate Thunder.
Now Matthew's back on his wheels, but he's at a bit of a precarious position. Looks like someone's helmet's just disappeared into the bottom of the rocks. Now Ben, time is moving on. It's 4:46. 14 minutes until we get this grudge match going.
This is really exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is exciting because, let's be honest, we don't even know who our 20 runners and riders are yet. We're still waiting for race ops to come through, and that adds to the drama.
Absolutely. The guys are working on their cars. They're doing their last-minute adjustments. I wonder if they're allowed to, put their cars into a bit more of a qualifying sort of setup. They've been out there racing all day. These guys probably have a qualifying setup and then a main race setup. Do they switch back to that qualifying setup? Do they run without co-drivers, take some spare tyres off, strip some spare parts out of there, lighten up the vehicles? With the power to weight ratio that these side-by-sides have, every kilo or pound counts.
It does indeed. And it's going to be really interesting. I mean, we've got some real powerful hitters at the back of the pack, and we've got some real powerful hitters at the front of the pack.
Absolutely, it's going to be a great race. Now, Jim, let's have a look. He's coming down Choose Your Own Adventure. These guys down here, they've got a much longer time to go. They've still got to come down Sledge and up Jack and Chocolate Thunder. You can see that's where those cars were that we saw to the left of the screen that were just recovering themselves. We've got a fair few cars sitting up top right in the pit. That's where pit 2A is, where that bit of road is between the two race courses.
And we're back to Chocolate Thunder, and there's Matthew Walraven there, back on his wheels, but still rather precarious. And the clock ticks by as we cut back to our infield and to our 20 runners and riders that have already finished.
So that's Brian Deegan there, and I saw him come in recently. I wonder if he's just made it into the grudge match.
Well, I'm wondering that. It looks like they're changing out a drive shaft, and it looks like there's some high fives going on. This is going to be very interesting indeed.
It will be. There's a bit of a mad scramble there to get everything looked over. Maybe change out a couple of tyres that have been a bit worn throughout the day. Get everything as fresh as possible for that 4-lap sprint.
And this is going to be 4 tough laps. What you have to remember that most of this track is like a goat track. It's very narrow, there's lots of rocks on either sides, and you're going to have to work really hard to make those passes. I mean, we're going to see action, drama. I wouldn't mind betting we're going to see the occasional rollover as well.
Quite possibly, and hopefully not, because we'd like to see this race run in one go. But what we will see is people trying all the different lines. In qualifying over the last 3 days, we saw a lot of people taking the really safe lines, doing the diverts, doing the uphill go-round. Are we going to see some people try and shoot that rock face? Probably not down, maybe down, doing it Lauren Healy style.
Well, we've also got
but definitely up. I'd say we'll see a few people smash up.
So we've
it.
got a minimum of 3 lines on the mountain. I would suggest you've even got 4 because there's a bit of width there. So let's see what happens. But these are the kind of guys that are going to leave it all out there on the course. We saw Paul Wolf yesterday. I mean, that time was just incredible. What's he going to deliver this evening?
Absolutely, that man was on fire.
Not literally, I'd like to point out.
No, not literally. But we also saw in the Class 11 race, there was a lot of overtaking in that too. Even on the start-finish corner, the guys were able to get underneath each other, push into turn 1, coming back through turn 19 and Talladega. There's lots of width in those corners. We've got some short course drivers racing. We've got some really experienced racers out here. They're going to have to deal with the rocks. Obviously, they're phenomenal racers to be in our top 20 to qualify for this event. So we're going to see some great racing tonight. Now the 118 of Matthew Walraven, that's a UTV stock turbo. He's still trying to get himself sorted out from that precarious line on Chocolate Thunder. Got himself in a bit of a sticky situation. The recovery crew has rolled him over. Hopefully he can get that vehicle back down on even ground and get in and get going again. And again, a shout out to our recovery crews, our volunteers, putting in the hard work here to keep our competitors safe, to keep our spectators safe, and to let us run this race. These guys work so hard out there. On a perfect day, they sit there and do nothing, but we know that doesn't happen at the Hammers. So they have worked hard all day. Chocolate Thunder, Outer Limits, those guys have worked especially hard. And they've helped keep the race moving and give us a phenomenal show that we've brought to you guys today. I can hear impact guns running, I can hear people moving around. There's a lot of action here as the teams get ready for the Grudge match. Don't go away. We're very shortly going to be starting that as we watch them pull the winch cable here to try and get that 118 back down on flat ground. The 2812 of Bernd Schaefer making its way up the left-hand side of Chocolate Thunder. We saw those guys. They were probably one of the first to have to winch around the obstacle in Outer Limits. They were there for quite a while, winching in Outer Limits. They've made their way all the way around, down Sledgehammer, up Jackhammer, worked their way around to Chocolate Thunder. They've still got a few rock trails to go, but once they get up here, it's a little bit easier for it. Starting to come back. They let you and me travel, which was great.
Absolutely.
Starting to see a few more people get over here. I know there's a big contingent around the world that watches this event and loves to come over and join in the party at Hammertown. Lots of guys that race it, so cool to see the Germans back, and hopefully next year we can have the full international field of the Hammers back.
It would be fantastic to see that. We've got 3 international teams that I know of racing in this race today. We've got the Crazy Germans, 2812. We also got Phil and Parpottis from the UK with his co-driver Bowie Odink from Holland. Sadly, they've had some mechanical issues and have had to retire on lap 1. And we've also got Nicolas Montador and his friend David out there as well. They're racing from France, but I have no news on where they are currently.
So it looks like they've got the 118 a little bit more settled. Hopefully they can back it down from there. Maybe choose a different line or have another go at this line and see how it works this time.
Yeah, there he goes. Max into a huge rock, but he'll just move forward, make his way through. And very soon we'll be heading to our $10,000 winner takes all grudge match here in Hammertown. But what a race it's been today at the 2022 Can-Am UTV Hammers Championship presented by Progressive Insurance. It's been a day of incredible racing where we saw Kyle Cheney cross the line unofficially in first position in 4 hours and 26 minutes. Get your head around that, Ben.
That's a smoking time, and they did, I believe, all the rock trails that we're going to see the Ultra 4s on Saturday do in the third lap.
Indeed.
And at the drivers' meeting the other night, Dave Cole warned the UTV guys, just because you're fast doesn't mean you can block up the rock trails. Well, they've proven today that they can do these rock trails in smoking time.
But what he also said to the 4400 class guys is, hey, don't complain to me about UTVs in your class. Show me how fast you can drive.
Absolutely.
So we're going to see a battle royale in the 4400 class this coming Saturday, and I cannot wait.
And we think these trails are drawn up now. We've been racing on 32s, 33s, 35s. Tomorrow we have the EMC running 35s and 37s, and some of those Legends cars, big horsepower on that 37-inch tyre, and that equals some massive changes to this course.
Indeed, yeah. It's going to be an exciting day of racing tomorrow. Again, over 100 vehicles will be taking to this course at 8 o'clock sharp.
We still have a lot of racing to go this week.
Oh, it's incredible. King of the Hammers keeps growing year on year. New ideas, fresh faces, new racers. And we're about to see something new this evening. We're about to see the very first Can-Am UTV Hammers Grudge match. Winner takes all, $10,000 for the first 20 vehicles that crossed the line earlier today.
I'm excited, Jim. This is going to be a great show. It's been a great show all day. The athletes that have been out there racing today put on a great show all morning, and these guys battling through the afternoon. You know, the perseverance that we've been seeing is just awesome, and we're just going to see even more tonight when these guys throw around this qualifying course. 4 laps, winner takes all. It's going to be brilliant.
Yeah, we're going to have our man Scott Wren out on the stage talking to the winners and the riders later on tonight, as we still watch the crazy Germans making their way out through Chocolate Thunder along with 118 Matthew Wolverine. So we're just going to have a quick run through on our top 5 earlier today. In first position across the line unofficially was Carl Cheney. In second was Hunter Miller. In third was Paul Wolf. In fourth was RJ Anderson, and in fifth it was Cody Martin. Now Paul Wolf, of course, was holding pole position in the 4400 qualifying for 6 hours yesterday before he was pipped to the post by Brian Crofts and Jason Shearer. And we're going to see Brian Crofts lining up this evening in this Grudge match. There is so much talent in this field. It is absolutely incredible.
And don't forget, we've got a couple of stock UTVs that have snuck into this top 20. And they're going to be throwing down, especially the nationally aspirated ones, against much bigger horsepower vehicles, and a lot of them are starting in front of them. So the guys who came at the top of the field today are really going to have to work to get past these other vehicles. I'm sure they'll have their elbows out and trying to make themselves as wide and dusty as possible and fight to keep that 10 grand prize.
Okay, so we're closing in on that 5 p.m. But as always, we work with the tools that we're given. And if we need to move that time back to make sure that we get a fair race, that's exactly what we'll do. So we'll be waiting for race ops to tell us what's going to happen. As I see more and more people starting to sit down, pull out chairs and move around by the fire pit in front of us.
There we go, the Germans have got up. They're out the top of Chocolate Thunder, or they're off the main obstacle here.
So what sort of time are we looking at from Chocolate Thunder back to Hammertown?
Oh, Jim, I would be saying probably an hour and a half. It's a fair way around there, especially at the rate these guys are moving. It's getting dark, it's getting cold.
So we're going to be about half an hour until literally it is black as coal out there.
Absolutely. It's once the sun goes down here, it goes down very fast. It gets dark very fast. and it gets cold very fast.
It does. I was just looking for my hand warmers that I don't have. As we get ready for this $10,000 grudge match, which will be starting in Hammertown very soon. So race ops will be coming on to us and giving as much information as they can very, very soon. In the meantime, we carry on watching the action live on course from the 2022 Can-Am UTV Hammers Championship presented by Progressive Insurance.
Looks like we've got some cars lined up out there next to Monster Energy, starting to get staged.
Yeah, as we're just watching those, let's throw some love out to our sponsors. So that's Can-Am, Ford, Bronco, Monster Energy, Optima Batteries, 4-Wheel Parts, Wet Method Race Wheels, Progressive Insurance, King Shocks, Nitto, Holly EFI, Laser Nut, VP Racing Fuels and Griffin Radiators. Without these guys, we couldn't do this racing. So please, buy their products, use their gear. We really appreciate their support.
If you're in Hammertown, come for a wander, find them. They've got vendor booths. Go and see the gear that they've got.
Look at this, Ben. Looking out across Hammertown now, and it is just a sea of RVs, of fans, of racers, of people who just want to be here enjoying this experience.
Absolutely, and you can see they're camped all the way out to the bottom of Turkey Claw that we raced up this morning. They're camped almost all the way out to the 247 highway. It is packed out here. There are so many people. Just a sea of RVs and trailers. It's mind-blowing how big this event gets each year.
Rumours of over 100,000 people here on the lake bed, and I have no reason to disbelieve it. As we watch the Star-Spangled Banner there flying high across the short course in Hammertown. So here we are, these are the runners and riders getting ready for the start of the $10,000 grudge match. You can see some of them are starting to fire up those lights. It's going to be getting dark on course. There'll be 4 laps of the qualifying course. And Ben was talking about it earlier, there are so many lines, so many options, tactics involved. Do you go hard off the first lap? Do you let other people break their cars and try and make a move? There is so much to do, but let's not forget these cars have also done 150 miles of racing already on some of the hardest rock trails in the world. They're going to be bruised, they're going to be battered.
Absolutely, Jim. You finish a race like the Can-Am UTV Hammers Championship, you come in with your car almost not running. Like, it's quite common for the cars to have to get pushed away from the finish line. They're on their last legs. You've absolutely destroyed it to get this top position, and you've fought your whole way. And now you've got to turn around and do a sprint race.
Okay, well, we're waiting for more action here and for the start of the $10,000 winner-takes-all grudge match. We're going to pop out to a short commercial break, and we'll be back and bringing you the best action in off-road racing. We'll see you very soon.
this be known.
Yeah, hi. Instead of letting passengers wrap their arms around us, can we put little handles on our jackets?
Deny.
Can you imagine?
I want a new nickname. Can you guys start calling me Snake?
No, Brian.
Denied. How about we all get quotes to see if we can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer?
Approved.
Cool. Hey, if Brian's not going to be Snake, can I be Snake?
No.
Conquer the elements, handle the most extreme environments, and dominate the desert and trails with King's new 2021 Ford Bronco 2.5 OEM Performance Upgrade Kit. All kits are 100% designed, manufactured, and assembled in our Southern California facility. See why we're the first choice for experienced off-road racers worldwide and order your Bronco kit today.
Business in the front, business in the back. The all-new 2021 Ford F-150 with new available interior and tailgate work surfaces.
Welcome back to our coverage of the Can-Am UTV Hammers Championship, presented by Progressive Insurance. We're reaching the last couple of hours of this event. We've still got cars on course. They're making their way in, fighting through the dark. We're going to keep bringing them in. But we're going to pause our coverage of the Hammers Championship and we're going to bring you this really special new event we've got, the Can-Am UTV Grudge match, winner takes all for $10,000. And your hosts for that are Jim Marsden and Ricky Johnson. I've been Ben Napier. Enjoy the Grudge match.
Thank you very much, Ben. Been fantastic having you up in the booth. Such a mine of information, so much experience of these hammer trials. But joining me now in the booth, it's the man, the legend himself, that is Ricky Johnson. Ricky, how you doing?
I've been doing fantastic. I mean, the racing that we saw today from everybody, from Phil Blurton, Kyle Cheney, Brock Hager, Jeremy McGrath, Bailey Cole. It just goes on and on and on. And how fast these UTVs are. I mean, it was mind-blowing. When I was literally, I went from an announcer to a fan. I sat back and I watched Kyle Cheney fly. He paused for like 1/10 of a second, the only time. Now you see a lot of people up there, they're stuck and all the different stuff, and there's no doubt why he is the back-to-back repeat champion.
But I mean, we watch racing at many levels. You've seen it on many different formats and many different types, and it's hard to actually get across how impressive this really is, isn't it? It's mind-blowing.
Well, and now these guys have gone over there, and the driver and the co-driver, the only ones that could work on the car, Jeremy McGrath and Scott Bell, had to change a header pipe because Jeremy said he lost about 15 mile an hour, so they had to change the header and then go. But now we were curious if there was some open spots, if they're going to bring some other people in, because right at that time, Jeremy McGrath was supposed to start on the pole, but now I see Brian Deegan in front of him. He finished behind Jeremy McGrath, so that puts Jeremy in the second line, and Jeremy's like, I'm in a normally aspirated car, I'm going to get crushed by these guys. But it's 4 laps the qualifying course, so it is going to be a rock'em sock'em derby. So with open wheel cars, excitement happens, and now when you put this many guys on a track that quick, and then once again, it's $10,000, winner take all, checkers or wreckers.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just trying to get confirmation of the runners and riders for our Grudge match.
So to explain the KTM UTV Grudge match, winner takes all, it is the top 20 finishers of the Can-Am UTV race will be invited to run in the UTV Grudge match. The top 20 finishers will leave their cars in the short course, so they had to sit there, and they gave about 45 minutes to work on the car. Everyone will have 1 hour, the top 20th, to repair their vehicles. As I said, Jeremy McGrath, I don't know all the different changes, but there we see MC running by himself, the multi-time Supercross champion. I say the king of Supercross because his numbers will never be touched, and he's also a short course champion. He's a driver and a competitor, so it's great to see him out there. It's 4 laps, as you said, and the cars may not leave the short course, so they got to stay on there. They're going to run the qualifying loop. They're going to go up and over and around, which there's some spots where we saw Casey Kerr do a big backflip. You can go around. So are you going to take the chance and go for it? So we're going to see some crashes for sure.
There's almost certainly. And let's talk about the multiple lines around the front of the around the front as they cut round to Nins Butte. There's 3 different lines. Then it bottlenecks into a single right-hand turn. Then they break away again, going up through these goat trails. Then they got the choice. They go the left-hand line, or they can throw themselves off the waterfall in Lauren Healy style. I'm not sure we're going to see that with the UTVs, if I'm honest. But then they make their way round that. They come round and to the bottom of the mountain. And at the bottom of the mountain, they have so many options. They've got at least 3 options for rock crawling in front of them, or they can take that safer left line, which is going to be the longer line. Very dusty, very cut up.
Well, and then when I talked with Jeremy, he said that it was about a 1.5 seconds slower to go around. And he said he's in here we're looking at Bailey Cole in the Honda. He won the NA class today, but if you notice, he's about 8 cars behind. And when Jeremy heard that, he's like, I'm going to go for it. So what's great about this, once again, it's winner take all, but we got to...
Yeah, now we're just getting confirmation here. We've got 143, Tyler Remereed, and then next to him is Brian Deegan on the pole. Oh my word, can you imagine? Then on the second row of the grid, we've got Carl Wickham and Jeremy McGrath. Then third row of the grid is going to be Brian Crofts and Dustin Jones. Then we've got 9, 7, 8 there with Dustin Jones we just saw, and then Philip Poe, then Carson Aikens, Bailey Cole there, who is our only stock UTV in this group, Michael Park, Cody Miller, Brian Stone, Brandon Sims, Mitch Guthrie, Cody Martin, RJ Angerson, and Brock Hager.
So if you notice, all the way back towards the end, you do not see Kyle Cheney. He's decided to not run in this because he's saving his vehicle, because he wants to save it for the big race. I heard he's going to jump it up from 35 to 37s, and he's going for the 4400 class.
Wow, that's massive.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you wouldn't bet against him, would you?
No.
I mean, the 4400 class is wide open this year. There's at least 20 vehicles with a legitimate shot at this title. And that's before you start to include the UTVs. And the UTVs really have got a good shot at the title. They've been banging on the door of the top 10 for the last 3 years. And perhaps we're going to see one break into the top 5. I certainly wouldn't bet against it.
Well, and you saw, as I said, once again, I've been talking an awful lot about Kyle Cheney, but also Brock Hager, a lot of the different guys that were up on the course. So the thing is that you don't want to count them out, because when it gets to those bottlenecks, they can get around and they can get narrow. When we get to the 4400 class, obviously we got some animals. We got the Gomez brothers. Obviously we got Randy Slauson. The list goes on and on. Lauren Healy, Campbell's. The list goes on. Also, Cameron Steele was doing phenomenal last year until right at the end. But if you notice, everybody's going no co-driver. It's right now they're lightening up their load as much as they can. We see that Jeremy McGrath is running by himself. Scott Bell is not in the car with him right now. I'm looking forward to this. I know how enthusiastic you get when it comes to these kind of races and stuff. We're going to have some good stuff. Hopefully we can just understand each other. My California slang, your British slang. Hopefully we can jive with this.
Oh, this is fantastic. I never thought I'd see this style of racing here. So when I turned up for this year's Hammers and they were telling me all about this Grudge match, and Dave is so enthused, as he said, hey, I've had one of them dumb ideas. And when he says that, you see that twinkle in his eyes, and then he tells you what he's thinking, and you see this. It's amazing. So here we go. We're getting ready now for the start of this $10,000 Can-Am UTV Grudge match here at King of the Hammers.
And there was some talk about different times when this was going to start, but you have to look. Here we go. We start to roll out. We got Brian Deegan on the front row. We saw earlier in the race that him and Terry Madden ran out of gas, so they got to get everybody back in line, and then let's run this. So we see Jeremy McGrath coming up to the inside second row.
So just restacking that field.
How quick? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you. How quick are the turbo cars going to come through the field?
To be honest, I really don't know. It's so much depends on the start, doesn't it? On how you jump and how you move. I mean, Brian Deegan must be counting his lucky stars. He's had an incredibly tough day in the office already, and then finds himself on the front row of the grid. But what do? You're Mitch Guthrie, and you're right down the back, sitting in 14th position, or RJ Anderson. I mean, the guy is a short course legend.
No,
I mean,
we have multiple short course champions in RJ Anderson, Jeremy McGrath, and Brian Deegan, and Brock Hager. All right, so not to mention that now these guys are now that RJ's completed a whole race because he just dabbled in this the first time 2 weeks ago, but now he's an experienced ruck racer because he's finished. Because a lot of the crossover guys have never finished, and with Jeremy McGrath and him, and obviously Brock Hager's been doing this for a while, he was right in the mix.
And then you've got the other one, of course, Tyler Remereed. He's on the front row of the grid. Now, what he must be thinking, who knows? He's got all of these legends behind him. This is his moment to shine. And then we've got Brian Crofts, our fastest qualifier, 4,400, sitting there in the third row of the grid. This is going to be exciting, Ricky, and we're getting ready for the start now. The car is making its way around the short course. This is going to be a rolling start. We're going to see the Ultra 4 course car peel away, and when he does, this race is go.
So now you see the guys in the back to get ready to slingshot. So everyone's hanging back just like in NASCAR, and they get on everybody. Get up there, stay close, because they don't want someone to slingshot. But you see the second row, they're holding back. They're going to try to make a jump on these guys.
So they would have been briefed, they would have been told when the course car's going to peel away. We're not too sure. I'm guessing it's going to be just before the arch. The car's starting to work their way now.
In this course, a lot, that finish line turn, it's been designed kind of for one car to go. Now we're going to go side by side by side by side. It's going to be pretty crazy getting through there. It's going to be narrow, going to be some wheels banging.
Any second now, they'll be trying to second guess. They'll have that right foot on the pedal, on the accelerator, their left foot on the brake. They'll be trying to build up that power and being able to launch the vehicles off the line. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for this? $10,000 winner takes all here at King of the Hammers for the very first Can-Am UTV Hammers Championship presented by Progressive Insurance Grudge match. Does racing get any better than this?
The best part about this, Jim, is that a lot of these guys, their cars are done after this, so they're going to give it everything they got.
Here we go. We're just getting ready now. Any minute now, I think we're going to see that course car peel away. Course car's gone. Just waiting for them. And we're off. We are live in Hammertown for the very first Can-Am UTV Grudge match. $10,000 winner takes all. Have they made it round the first bend? Yes, they have.
Tyler Remender was able to get by Brian Deegan, and now the guys are into the dust. You see a lot of the drivers looking to the inside, trying to avoid that. We're going to see some bumping and banging, everyone disappearing, but everyone's still on their wheels.
We've got our drones in the air, trying to give you the greatest coverage that we can here, and that looks like Brian Deegan making his way up to the right-hand turn at the bottom of Short Bus. Oh, look at this. Look who's up behind him. Where did he come from? Oh, it looks like one of the Miller brothers possibly, or I'm guessing that will be actually... I'll try to get confirmation on numbers in a moment. But let's just sit back and enjoy this racing as Brian Deegan leads the pack. Now we're at the bottom of the mountain here. Where's he going to go? He's taken the safer left-hand line. And the second place car is taking the gamble line up through the rocks. Oh, and he didn't make it.
And he doesn't make it, and Brian Deegan breaks out to a huge lead. This is going to be unbelievable for him. But wait a minute, it is a short loop, so he's going to get caught in the same trouble when it comes back around. So we see a lot of the drivers getting stuck, and Brian Deegan, who this is his rookie year at King of the Hammers, has got a commanding lead at this point, almost one lap down.
But Brian Deegan is no amateur and no rookie. He knows exactly what he's doing. I'd love to know if he's got Terry Madden sat next to him or whether he's out there pedaling on his own as he makes his way through the Bronco Arch for the very first time.
And we see that Brian is by himself. Terry Madden is not in there, which at this short qualifying, you want that weight out. And this is checkers or wreckers, 10 grand or 0. So Brian right now has to just keep moving himself forward and watch out, because he's in one of the turbo cars, so he's in one of the faster cars. He ran out of gas in the main race today, and so he's in a great spot right now, because this is what he does. He's a short course champion.
Yeah, we're seeing some cars. You're seeing how the field is already massively spread out.
We see Mitch Guthrie trying to work his way around the crowd, but this course isn't laid out for side-by-side racing, even though Guthrie shoots to the inside as he works himself down, passing another driver and trying to work his way back up to get towards Brian Deegan. As we see, Brian has already started his second lap with about a 15-second lead at this point.
And lap traffic is going to come into play on this second lap almost certainly. Multiple cars come round, trying and vying for position. So in first position we have Brian Deegan. In second position currently it's Brian Crofts. In third is Carson Aikens. In fourth, Brock Hager. And in fifth, Tyler Remery.
Brock Hager came from last place, so he is on a tear, so let's keep an eye on Brock Hager. He's down quite a bit when it comes to time, but he has passed all those drivers, as once again, he's a short course champion as well.
Oh, this is fantastic stuff. I'm massively enjoying this racing. Just watching these vehicles here as they pick their way around the course.
That is Brian Crofts in second place. We're going to be looking for Brian Deegan. He is about 10 seconds ahead of Crofts, but so we'll keep an eye on that. That is Cody Martin. In 296.
Yep, sitting at the back of the pack at the moment. And that's in car. It looks like that could be one of the Miller brothers. Okay, here we go. We've got the cars taking on the mountain. Oh, we get a chance to really see if it's actually any faster. Yeah, so look at that there. That's one of the Miller cars who's just cut his way to the top of the hill. We think that's 221 of Cody Miller. So great work there from Cody.
Well, and that's also Cody Miller with the in-car camera. So we're watching him. We see the Maxxis on the side. So we're getting both things. And that's why it's amazing. We're out here in the middle of the desert watching as Cody Miller is racing in the car corrected time.
And we've got 3 cars coming now into turn 19. Just look at this. It's action all the way as they make their way onto the Talladega bend.
And I want to say that's Brock Hager.
And that looks like our first place car, Brian Deegan, coming round now to start his third lap. And we're looking to see what time gap he has over Brian Crofts. Brian Crofts also crosses the line. So Brian has narrowed the gap down to 11 seconds. With Carson Aikens crossing the line and 2 seconds behind Brian Crofts, and Brock Hager. Oh my word, this is close. Brock Hager is in fourth, and he is only right now 13 seconds behind Brian Deegan.
And we just saw Brock Hager make a pass for third place. So Brock Hager has come from 17th all the way up to third place. He's got to get past Brian Crofts, and then he has to start chasing down Brian Deegan. So he's going to feel like he's in a Lucas short course race.
If you've just switched on, welcome to the 2022 Can-Am UTV Hammers Championship Grudge match. $10,000 winner takes all here on the qualifying course at Hammertown.
And now we see the winner of the normally aspirated race today, Bailey Cole, as he works his way through the finish line, starting his second lap. So two down, 2 to go.
Indeed. And they're pushing hard, working through the dust, working through the dark.
That was Kyle Wickham. And once again, we're watching
Cody
Miller as he bangs his way through. And Cody's made a couple passes on that route where we saw Casey Curry crash in qualifying, so he's got that route figured out.
So our current race order is Brian Deegan in first, Brian Crofts in second, Carson Aikens in third, Brock Hager, I think he might have actually overtaken Carson, in fourth, Mitch Guthrie in fifth, Cody Miller sixth, RJ Anderson seventh, Tyler Remereed in eighth, Michael Park in ninth, Bailey Cole in 10th, Carl Wickham in 11th, Philip Rowe in 12th. Go Ricky.
And Brian Deegan, as he works his way down, you can see he's got some traffic behind him, so people are starting to reel him in a little bit, but he's also dealing with lappers at this point. So Brian Deegan still has a little bit of a commanding lead, but now we're starting to see some lights coming up behind him.
Now, is that Brian Crofts who's catching him, or is that Brock Hager? We will find out shortly as they make their round.
So now we have
Brock stuff.
Brock Hager has worked into second place, and now he's hunting down Brian Deegan. So we are going to see a race. We have 1 lap to go. This is the 3rd lap, so 1 more lap to go. Can Brock Hager make that move as he looks to the inside?
So Brian Deegan crosses the line at 7:43, and right behind him, only 1 second behind him, it is Brock Hager. Where has Brock come from? Incredible stuff from Brock Hager. Brian Deegan in a Can-Am, Brock Hager in a Yamaha.
Looks to
and he
the
commits
inside.
to the inside line. This is why we come racing. Just check this out, ladies and gentlemen.
Mitch Guthrie is in 3rd place, but he is not in the mix at this point. As we're watching, what I love to see with Brock Hager, he's moving left, moving right, but then he disappears in the cloud. So Brian Deegan is going to try to get away from him, but will he take that? Jim, I'm going to ask you, is he going to run straight up the hill or take the long way around when it comes to, because they have 2 more turns, and that could be the race right there.
Oh, we've got a rollover on course as well, just down there. Look, see our course cars there. They'll be getting him recovered as quickly as possible. Coming back to your question, Ricky, if it was me, I would take that left-hand turn because,
here we go. Brian Deegan goes to the left.
Deegan, and he's taking that left-hand line, that safer route. And Brock Hager is also taking that left-hand line. It's cut up out there. Look at the way these machines are bouncing across these rocks and ruts. Dust flying in the air. And let's not forget, they've already done 150 incredibly tough miles before they even got here. The main race was a prologue for this one. Get your head around that.
It was a 150-mile prologue, but Terry Madden has to be so proud. As you see, Brian Deegan was able to pull away, and now we see Brock Hager slowing down a little bit. He might have hit something hard in the dust that's slowing him down a little bit, and I don't think he's going to make up that ground. And here we see Mitch Guthrie starting to reel in Brock Hager.
Yeah, that looks like Brian Crofts there, actually, pulling around back on Brock Hager. And we've got action on the short course on 19. Yeah, and we're just looking at our leaderboard right now. Leading currently is Brian Deegan. In second, it is Brock Hager. And up to third, it's that 2-time king, Mitch Guthrie.
And now we see Guthrie shooting to the outside and making a pass on Brock Hager. I think something happened. Either Hager's got a flat or something, because he had such a good pace, and now he's fallen off a little bit. We see Brian Deegan as he goes over the main jump. Mitch Guthrie Jr., and then we got Brock Hager. So we have the top 3 right here, and now we have Brian Deegan. There he is. Brian Deegan is our champion, $10,000.
No, we still got 1 lap to go.
Oh, we have 1 lap, or was that checkers?
Or was that 4? No, that is checkers.
That was the checkers. I called it.
Yes.
Brian Deegan is your Grudge match champion.
Fantastic stuff. So Brian Deegan in his rookie year here at King of the Hammers.
And Terry was in with him the whole time. That is awesome.
You can't go racing without Terry Madden. That is the rules. So fantastic stuff here at the very first, the 2022 Can-Am UTV Hammers Championship, presented by Progressive Insurance. UTV Grudge match, $10,000 winner takes all, goes to Brian Deegan. Very shortly, we're going to get some of these guys up on stage, and we're going to be talking to them, but not just Brian Deegan for winning the Grudge match. We're also going to have the runners and riders up from the main race itself. So we're going to have Carl Cheney up here telling us all about his day and that amazing 4-hour, 26-minute run he had. So what do we reckon, Ricky? Is this coming back next year?
Absolutely. I think, because here's the thing, you got the guys that are going to run the 4400 class, like Kyle Cheney and a couple of the other guys that they didn't come by. We see that Bailey Cole was the top finishing NA car, and 7th. In 8th is Kyle Wickham, and then Carson Atkins than Philip Poe. But will they come back? I think absolutely yes, because if your car has finished and is strong, go out and let's give it a go. And we're also putting on a show. It's quick, it's fast. It gives the guy with the inverted line a chance to win. So Brian Deegan ran out of gas today, didn't do as well as he wanted in the main race, but he comes home the Grudge Match champion. So another title for Brian Deegan.
Yeah, certainly. I think there's going to be some beverages drunk in the Deegan household tonight. Fantastic stuff. Let's just have a quick look at our top 10 in the $10,000 winner takes all. In first place, it's Brian Deegan. In second, it's Mitch Guthrie. In third, Brock Hager. In fourth, Brian Crofts. In fifth, it's Cody Miller. In sixth, it's Michael Park. In seventh, an incredible run in a normally aspirated machine by Bailey Cole. In eighth, it's Carson Aikens. In ninth, it's Philip Rowe. And in 10th, it's Carl Wickham. What a fantastic racing we've seen here this evening. Absolutely amazing. From 8 o'clock this morning right the way through to now. It's been incredible.
I can't wait to hear from Brian Deegan. He always has some great antics on the podium. Obviously formerly with the Metal Militia, now doing this thing. All of his kids, all superstars, his daughter, his sons, everybody. So that is one motivated family. And right now, the father of everybody is now another champion. So and some people might think, it's just another champion, another trophy for him. This is going to mean the world to him. I know what when I finished the King of the Hammers and when I won the Spec Truck Championship, what it meant, because when we got here, I was a complete fish out of water, as I know Brian was, but working with Terry Madden and learning and all the different stuff, that's got the smile on their face is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to getting these guys up on stage and having a chat and hearing about their day. Let's not forget, this $10,000 Grudge match is just the end after racing over 150 miles already. There we see Bailey Cole there in the Honda Talon. And it's great to see so many different manufacturers' vehicles there. We've got Can-Ams, we've got Polaris, we've got Hondas, we've got Kawasaki's. Yamahas, yep.
So think about that. That would be like having Chevrolet, Ram, Toyota,
exactly.
Everybody.
How many race series do we get to see that? That is the depth that we have in UTV. As we see that flag proudly flying over Hammertown. How good does that look?
A sea of people. So don't forget, if you're going to be around tonight, over at 7 to 9 o'clock, the Optimum Battery slick kart race is going to happen. We have we have Tanner Fowles, Vaughn Gittin, we have Christopher Pavardi, a task of people, and they roped me into doing a little bit of announcing over there. So if you get a chance, it's right behind the Rugged Radios tent as we see Brian Deegan up on there.
There's Terry Madden getting out the car, being joined by Brian up on the roof. What a story, what a day for those two. And as we watch the images going out across Hammertown, it looks absolutely incredible. Look at that skyline, look at that view, look at those lights. All these wonderful people come out here to be part of the story that is King of the Hammers. Tomorrow morning the racing continues. We have the Everyman Challenge starting at 8 o'clock. We'll have the 4500s, the 4600s and the 4800s battling it out on these fabled trails.
Yes.
But very shortly we're going to be joining Scott Wren on stage. And he'll be there with our Grudge Match champion, Brian Deegan. And that guy who seems to get everywhere, Terry Madden.
Yeah, and that's what I love about Terry. It doesn't matter. We saw him running with a 10-gallon gas can strapped to his back, and now he's on the podium.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to pass it over to the Master of Ceremonies, Scott Wren, who's live on stage with Brian Deegan. Scott.
Thanks a lot, guys. Man, talk about bringing a taste of short course to the desert. You guys just pulled it off, and I can't help but think I'm looking at this guy. I know at this race, you scared him at least once or twice out there. I don't care. All the years that he's been out there, you're racing, you're driving out here, especially a little bit in the dark, had to scare him a little bit.
I don't know if I've been able to scare him yet. He literally lives right out here. He showed me all the ropes. My first experience at King of the Hammers here, the first time I've ever raced this event, man, what one hell of an event. It's just so fun, and he showed me the ropes out there. There's 5 times where I thought we were done, and he's like, we aren't done, get in the car. And I'm like, all right, let's go. And he lifts the car, freaking put the tire on, we're go. So what a cool experience, man. It's cool to see so many fans and just so many enthusiasts. Everyone's coming out here to be a part of this, and it's more than just watching the event. You guys are actually wheeling, being a part of it, enjoying it. This event couldn't be any cooler.
Well, I'm looking at Terry right now. Terry, what was it like for you out there, not only this afternoon's race, but tonight especially?
We just, it was one of them days, made memories I wish I didn't have. No, we had a lot of fun. Brian killed it. We just miscalculated on fuel, had a few other problems, got caught up in the traffic jam at Sledge. Just wasn't our day.
But what was tonight like?
What was that? Oh, that was fun. We needed that. That was. I wish we could do that every year.
What was the name of this short course race?
It doesn't matter what the name was because you just won it, Brian. Plus, you're going home with a big ass check. Does the wife probably have $10,000 already spent before showing up in the motorhome with that thing?
Yeah. Well, I think this is a guy's trip out here, so we'll be hanging on to that check, and we'll split it with Terry. So we're gonna have some fun with it. And man, thanks for everyone coming out and being a part of this. Such a cool moment.
Are you gonna be sticking around the rest of the weekend, taking the big race on Saturday?
Yes, I definitely want to be here to check it out. I'm a fan of this now. And but I'm gonna go to NASCAR on Sunday with Haley and check out at the Coliseum. But we just live racing, and as long as I'm at a racetrack, I'm happy. And I'll be here for another couple days watching all you guys get down.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, out of more can be said. Let's hear for Terry Madden, Brian Deegan, your winners of the Can-Am UTV Grudge.
As the nice guys come down across Hammertown, we can only look back at what has been the most amazing day of racing. Earlier today, 120 heroes left the start line. It's been absolutely fantastic, and then we've just seen history being made with the very first Can-Am UTV Grudge match. We're going to throw it now to a short commercial break, but we're going to get you back very, very soon so we can award the trophies for the main race that we saw today in the 2022 Can-Am UTV Hammers Championship presented by Progressive Insurance. So be sure to stay tuned and we'll see you very soon.
Renowned worldwide for reliability, the ARB air locker is a must-have for off-road drivers including rock crawlers, overlanders, and racers. With over 100 applications, ARB Air Lockers gives your vehicle the traction you need to tackle virtually any challenge with the flip of a switch.
PCI Race Radios, the leader in off-road communications since 1972. Our equipment was developed for racing in Baja, perfected for enjoying the weekend with family and friends. Stay in touch with our track stereo intercoms, two-way radios, satellite communications, helmets and headsets. Find new adventures with GPS. Breathe clean air with Race Air Fresh Air Systems. PCI has the highest quality communications, navigation, and safety equipment, backed by the best support in the industry. Find us at hundreds of events each year, supporting our equipment on site and providing the PCI Weatherman Relay. See you in the desert.
A tradition of performance. For over 60 years, a brand synonymous with VWs. Known around the world for quality, speed, and innovation. MB, the first in VW speed equipment.
Rocks, sand, heat. Life off-road is tough. We wouldn't have it any other way. If AMSOIL products are designed for this kind of punishment, think about what they can do for your daily driver. Upgrade to AMSOIL protection today and get fast free shipping from AMSOIL.com.
So King of the Hammers, it's the toughest one-day race in the world as far as I'm concerned.
When you need your winch, that's the only thing that matters. It's about getting to the finish line first. It doesn't matter how you do it.
be known.
Yeah, hi. Instead of letting passengers wrap their arms around us, can we put little handles on our jackets?
Denied.
Can you imagine?
I want a new nickname. Can you guys start calling me Snake?
No, Brian.
Denied.
How about we all get quotes to see if we can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer?
Approved.
Cool. Hey, if Brian's not going to be Snake, can I be Snake?
No.
Conquer the elements, handle the most extreme environments, and dominate the desert and trails with King's new 2021 Ford Bronco 2.5 OEM Performance Upgrade Kit. All kits are 100% designed, manufactured, and assembled in our Southern California facility. See why we're the first choice for experienced off-road racers worldwide and order your Bronco kit today.
Business in the front, business in the back. The all-new 2021 Ford F-150 with new available interior and tailgate work surfaces.
And welcome back to Hammertown, ladies and gentlemen. What an incredible day of racing we've had here at the 2022 Can-Am UTV Hammers Championship presented by Progressive Insurance. At 8 o'clock this morning, we saw over 120 vehicles leave the line and not one disappointed. What a day of racing we've had. We saw Kyle Cheney crossing the line earlier on today in a staggering 4 hours and 26 seconds. Then our top 20 crossed the line, and then we had our first ever Can-Am UTV grudge match. Winner takes all for $10,000, won by Brian Deegan. But out on stage now, we've got our man, Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Scott Wren, and he's going to be bringing home our heroes and awarding those trophies. Scott, take it away.
Thanks a lot, Jim. Kylie, I tell you, everybody's been talking about this car all afternoon and what you were able to do out there on the course, both you guys. And Brian Deegan just walked away with a $10,000 check, but I'm looking at yours like you kind of look at that thing and go, that's nothing. I got $16,000, almost $17,000 check right here. Kyle Cheney, the champion overall and class champion this afternoon. Congratulations.
Was that this afternoon? I don't remember. Shoot, we raced today? I can't.
Yeah, it's still the same day. Still a 24-hour same time period.
Oh, okay, yeah, I almost forgot.
So what was your afternoon like, man? To talk about a dominating run.
No, man, the afternoon was awesome. You know, we just stayed smooth all day. We only made one mistake in sledge. You know, we had to get out in the winch, and the rest of the time we just stayed smooth, man. My Can-Am ran awesome today. CT Raceworks did awesome building the car. You know, I just got to thank all the people that helped me to be up here, but, you know, it's just awesome. You know, to do back-to-back King of Hammers wins is amazing.
And the first one to do that as well. But here's the thing. You kind of sat off to the side and kind of took tonight in and watched all the race action up there with another eye set on Saturday. That's what you're looking forward to right now. What can we expect?
Yeah, you know, it's awesome to watch Brian Deegan win. You know, that was another CT Raceworks built car that was out of my tent. So we won both races today. My team won both races. So super pumped on that. But yeah, no, we definitely got our eyes set on Saturday, and that's going to be tough. You know, after racing today, the UTV race was really tough, and I know the 4,400 race is going to be even tougher.
Did he scare you this afternoon at all?
No, not this afternoon. It wasn't too bad. I mean, I'm thinking here. He didn't try to kill me today, no.
Well, congratulations, guys, and we're looking forward to see what you can do again this year in the 4,400 race, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Well, not really. I was, but not now.
Nice job, guys.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, your winner and overall and class in the Can-Am UTV Hammers Championship presented by Progressive Insurance.
right up on stage for second place in a Can-Am, Mr. Hunter Miller. Congratulations today. Obviously your race went well. How do you feel about it?
Oh, that's a relative question for sure. It was a tough day. They put together a very tough course, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. We had our fair share of mechanical issues, but I couldn't be happier to get up here on the podium.
What did you think about the course this year?
It was tough. The desert was honestly the hardest part. It was super dusty and super chewed up from the rocks, from the trucks, but we got through it, got to the rocks, and that's where we planned to try and cut into Kyle's lead. Sorry, this thing's messing me up. We tried to cut into Kyle's lead a little bit, but we ended up rolling over on Daydream and took us a minute to get it going again, and from there we just tried to get to the finish.
So now you're turning around and racing again on Saturday. How much prep are you going to do? Are you going to tear down your car completely or just fix what you think? What you might need to fix or what?
So that's messing with you too. No, absolutely. We're going to do a full prep on the cars. It's in great shape still, but we're going to go through everything. Saturday's going to be a very hard day, and put everything together like we know how and try to get to the finish there.
Awesome. Well, who would you like to thank for getting you up here?
Oh, there's so many people. It's a ton. Obviously, Can-Am, they brought us here 3 years ago, and we've been on the podium 2 out of 3 years, so that's great. Maxxis, Texplex, Raceline Wheels, UTV Race Shop. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden, but Liquid Molly. Sorry, everybody. Elka Suspension, George White with Double E Racing. He's been here for 2 weeks with us tuning our suspension, and Ed with Texera Tech, and everybody. Thank you very much. Factory UTV. I couldn't be happier. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, and we'll see you on Saturday, and it's time to celebrate. All right, next up on stage is our third place, Mr. Paul Wolf. Tell us about your day, Paul.
It's pretty wild. We took off a little back in the pack. We didn't qualify real well, and we had to fight through a lot of dust out in the desert, and the desert's pretty rough. My co-pilot here, Travis, he took pretty good care of me. Without him, I don't think I would have made it through it. So he did great, and then, of course, the Can-Am did great. We got over in the rocks, and that's our world. We're East Coast boys, so we do the rock bouncing, and we made up a lot of time in the rocks and was able to push pretty hard. Again, he kept me going, and then all my crew and everybody, they had to help me do some tire stuff, and I broke a belt and did a few things, but we were able to keep it together and get it all the way here to the finish.
Well, that's awesome. It's just racing, right, when you have to do minor things like that?
Oh, yeah. We kept it on all 4 tires all day, so that's always a plus.
That is definitely a bonus. Who do you have to thank to get you up here on the stage tonight?
I got a lot of people. First off, I got to thank my wife back home, Christy, and my daughter, Lainey, for letting me come out here and race and do all this and spend this time away from them. So thank you to them. Thanks to all my crew, and then, of course, all the sponsors. I got Can-Am, Simpson, HCR, G-Force Suspension, Pete with NOS. He does an awesome job. And then we got MRT Tires, Raceline Wheels, Halo, and RCV. Man, they make an awesome drivetrain components, and then Evolution Power Sports. EBC Brakes, they do a great job keeping this thing shut down when I need it to be. So huge shout out to all of them guys. Really happy.
So I'm going to ask you, like I did Hunter Miller, you're racing again on Saturday. Yesterday in qualifying, you held that #1 spot for quite some time. What are you going to do to your car now to get ready for the Saturday race?
We're actually going to try some new stuff out there. We're going to put the car on 37s and run it. I don't know if anybody's done that yet on a Can-Am, but we're going to give it a go. We're going to run the desert, probably be a little conservative in the desert and just stay out of the way of the 4,400 guys so they don't run us over. And then we get in the rocks. I think that's when we can make up some time on them. So that's the plan.
Awesome. Well, we're all excited to see you get out there and race again. You did the shootout. You just raced today. Now again on Saturday for the Race of Kings. Congratulations today, and we'll see you again.
Sounds good. Look forward to it.
Thank you. All right, now we are into our UTV stock turbo class, and we have RJ Anderson in that number 1 spot. RJ, I saw you out there going through remote pit 1.
No way.
How was your day out there today?
You know, that was absolutely insane. My brother actually talked me into this. I never wanted to go out and put my car or myself through all this chaos in one race, but him and Cole, man, first of all, I feel so bummed for them. They put in the work out here, and we're obviously having a great day out there, and then heading to Turkey Claw had some problems, but we just held the torch and kept on keeping on. My buddy Doug Matag rode with me. He hadn't even been to Johnson Valley until Monday morning, so I had to tell him how to get here, so it was pretty funny. We had a great time out there. A couple mistakes just as a driver, and little experience in the rocks. I mean, they're gnarly out there, some of those canyons, and what we actually put these vehicles through is pretty incredible. So 4th overall for my first year, minimal seat time. I'm stoked. It's a team effort. My team was out here supporting us. It's a long time out here on the lake bed that I'm sure everyone here can understand. So, man, I had a blast. I don't know if I can put myself through it again, but I did have a blast out here racing.
I'm sure we'll see you again next year. But who do you have to thank for being up here on this podium today?
Yeah, my whole entire team, you know, we're not really geared up for desert racing or this type of racing. So for them to come out here and support us with pits and fueling and radio and just bringing us parts and when we tear stuff up. So I really got to thank them first and foremost for being here for us through thick and thin. So those guys, and then Polaris Razor, NOS Energy Drink, 4 Parts gave me the opportunity to actually come do this. So I hope I made them proud today. I did my best. So BF Goodrich tires, flawless all day. The amount of rocks that those things see is insane. So it was a tough course. I appreciate those guys' support and hope I made them proud.
Well, congratulations on being up here in that number 1 position, and it's time to celebrate. We have some champagne, trophy, and checks. All right, next up on stage in that number 2 spot in the UTV stock production class, Mr. Joshua Smith. Yep. I saw you going through remote pit. You guys had a strategy today. Tell us a little bit about what strategy you had with fueling and everything.
We fueled every time through pit 1. We fueled 3 times in 1, and then a splash in 2.
So some people did not stop on their way in the first time and had some fuel issues, but you obviously had that down, knew you were not going to take any chances. But what was your favorite part of the race course today?
I liked Outer Limits. It's a challenging trail. I enjoyed it.
So the challenge is what you like the most. I like it. Now, who do you have to thank to get you up here in this position today?
I'd like to thank Corey Nasso. He helped me build a car. And all my great sponsors like Liqui Moly, MRT Tires, ZRP, HCR.
Now look back on
Fury. And side-by-side Fury.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on your position today in number 2. And it's time to celebrate. They're going to bring your check over here. Anybody that wants to come up and take a picture with your team, go ahead and come on up. All right, we have in third position Mr. Brian Crofts. You're our number 1 qualifier for the Saturday 4400 Race of Kings. How do you feel about your race today?
It was great. Miller and I just had a plan to go out and pre-run. We never, I think, really went over 65 miles an hour, so it was just kind of a cruise. So it was a really good time.
Did you have a clean race? Any issues? No flat tires? All smooth? Oh, Ryan's got a laugh going on over there.
You could ask Ryan.
Ryan, tell us about your day then. What were your issues?
Well, we had a flat tire and realized we didn't have all the parts for our jack. So that turned into about a 30-minute tire change, trying to get the tire changed without a jack. And once we got going again, it was pretty clean besides that. So.
Well, you guys got up here third position on the box. How do you feel about that?
I'm pretty excited. This is only the second time I've ever driven a UTV, first time I've ever driven it in the rocks. So, and same time with Miller. Miller's never driven or really co-drove in a UTV, so it's kind of pretty cool to be up here on the podium and finish with all these top drivers.
So you're going to steal him from Bailey if she was to ever get into a UTV and need a co-driver?
No, she always has first preference.
That's a good answer right there. Who do you have to thank to getting up here today?
I want to thank Brian Clock from Clockworks. Without them, we wouldn't be here today. Nitto Tire for keeping the tires on the car. Rugged Radios getting us our headsets. FK Rod Ends. Rugged Geek. Impact. Baja Designs. Many others, and especially the entire Campbell Racing crew. Without the entire Campbell Racing crew, we wouldn't be here.
Well, congratulations again, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
All right, time to celebrate your little third place finish there. All right, up here on stage, now we're into our UTV Open class. Mr. CJ Greaves, how was your day?
Oh man, it was quite exciting to say the least. First time out in a Polaris. We got our deal done just a couple weeks ago. So we got a car 20 days ago and had to turn it into a race car. Never driven anything with a CVT, never raced anything with a CVT. So we got to learn the hard way a little bit on the belts, but we had one belt go, and we got that fixed, and then ended up running out of gas coming into remote pit 1. And at least I had some good friends willing to take a fall, pushing us to the pit there. And then after that, it was just a flawless day. We once we got out past remote pit 1 and got into the second lap, my co-dog and I just had a great day in the rocks. We never had to winch. He got out, I think, 2 times when there was a couple stack-ups in front of us. Other than that, we just had a flawless day in the rocks. So we got a little bit to learn on these new cars yet, but we're definitely looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, who do you have to thank to get you up here besides Polaris?
Definitely Monster Energy. Everyone from Polaris, I know they were definitely gambling on me coming over, and I was probably doing the same thing going there. So hats off to all them guys. We appreciate it. Maxxis Tires, Vision Wheel, Fox Shocks, Factory UTV skid plates, VP Race Fuels, RCV, just everyone all my crew, all my friends and family that took, we have 36 hours home, so took 10 days off to come out here. HCR Suspension, just everyone that helps us out. We were able to make it happen today on basically a bone stock Polaris between axles, A-arms, trailing arms, everything, even tie rods are stock. So I think that's a lot to say, and I can't wait to get back till next year.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again. Everybody, CJ Greaves in that #1 spot in the UTV Open class. All right, so in the UTV Open class, we had Mitch Guthrie in that #2 position. We didn't see him, we saw his car, but congratulations to Mitch Guthrie for getting second place. But we are now on to Mr. Bailey Cole in that UTV Stock NA class. How was your race?
The Honda was fantastic all day. I tried to mess it up a couple times today and ended up on my side, but Scotty over here literally lifted the car twice with the help of a couple other co-drivers and got us back on all fours, and we finished first.
Now, I know Scotty's raced the motos out here. Has he ever co-drove for you before?
No, this was me and Scotty's first time working together. You raced UTV last year, correct? Yep.
Awesome. Well, who do you have to thank for getting you up here on the box today?
Definitely Honda. The car just kept working. It was fantastic all day. I think we were had the NA class by like 20 minutes in the first lap in the desert. Fantastic. The Fox Shocks, Jeff Proctor, KMC, Steel It, Baja Designs, FK Rod Ends, Fluid Logic. They all helped us get here. Thank you.
And so today was a great pre-run race for your next race. How are you feeling about getting into that Bronco?
Oh, that's going to be a great time too. Looking forward to it a lot.
I'm super excited for you, but congratulations to you guys for on your #1 position into the UTV Stock NA class. It's time to celebrate. All right, up on stage in our UTV Stock NA class in second place, Mr. Jeremy McGrath. How was your day today?
Oh man, it was eventful to say the least. We had a good day out there. My friend Scott here got to ride in the co-dog seat, so he got to pull a rope today for me a couple times. But I'm happy to say we didn't have many problems. We did break a header out there, and we were a little bit loud on the course. So our ears are ringing, and I think tonight when we go to bed, we'll feel that. But for the most part, we had a great day. The Kawasaki was awesome. Of course, those Maxxis tires were killing it on the rocks. We only had to get a rope out a couple times. So we saw a lot of crazy stuff out there, but we're glad to get to the finish line.
So what was your favorite part of the course, and what was your least favorite part of the course?
I mean, I don't know. The whole event itself, the rocks, how technical they are, it's exciting, it's challenging. I think, for me, I'm not used to it that much, so every time I go through a section, I'm just like blown away at what these things can do. So to get to the finish line was the main goal. We did that. Probably could have pushed a little bit harder, but I was afraid to tear up the car. I just want to make sure I made it. I think my favorite parts were just being able to, the prep work with my friends. We did a lot of work. I have a lot of great guys here that really helped me, and appreciate all the help for that. And it's everyone here that knows if they're putting a car on the show, it's a lot of work and a lot of late nights. So we had that going on for sure. But again, we're just thankful for friends and thankful to be here.
And who else got you up here onto this stage tonight? Who would you like to thank?
Obviously, thank Scott here, Travis, Bill, Carl, my whole crew. Les, Ryan, my kids are out here somewhere. I think they're out here. My girls are here. Yeah, there they are. So Jeff Boat, he was with us. We got a fun crew. We spent, like I said, we had a lot of late nights in the shop and doing all this stuff ourselves. In the past, I had my own mechanics. This time, I get friends to help me, and I do it with them. So it's enjoyable when you get to the finish. And it's a huge effort from everyone. So Maxxis tires, obviously, Kawasaki with the KRX is, I think we were the only Kawi in the show, so it's good to be up here. Congrats to Bailey; those guys did a great job, and we thought we'd be a little closer, but maybe next time.
Well, congratulations again, and it's time to celebrate. We have a check over here, and we have some champagne. Congratulations. All right, so Mr. Mitch Guthrie ended up coming up over here.
Yep.
As you should, because you did get number 2 in the UTV Open class. How was your day out there today?
It was a good day. We had our ups and downs for sure. It's King of the Hammers, so we had our fair share of problems, but most of the race went really well until we had some issues at the end that held us up. But as everyone knows, it's great to get across the finish line here, so I'm happy to be here in front of everyone and also do that shootout. We got second and just had a great time today.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy doing the Grudge match. Pretty fun.
Yeah, it was insane. The qualifying course was super torn up, and we pretty much couldn't see anything. So you're just hitting rocks, don't really know where you are the whole time, and we ended up second, so that was a good time. But big thanks to Curtis over here for sitting co-dog. We had to do some winching today and put in some work, but happy to be across the finish line.
Awesome. Well, who do you have to thank for getting you up here today?
Big thank you to our whole crew. We did 2 races this week, so it was a lot of work. And man, it's been a rough couple weeks, but I'm happy to have a couple awesome races under our belt now. And then Polaris Razor for the awesome platform, Red Bull, BFG Tires for awesome tires, KMC Wheels, 4-wheel parts, Rigid Industries, VP Fuels, Walker Evans Racing. Big thank you to them and whoever I forgot.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, and it's time to celebrate. Mitch Guthrie Jr. All right, let's stay tuned. Thank you for watching the Can-Am UTV Championship, Hammers Championship presented by Progressive Insurance. Stick around. We are going to go live with Speed Sport right up here on stage. We're going to be bringing up some special guests, so stick around.
Dominance, proprietary patented race technology, proudly made in the USA, unparalleled customer service and support. The choice of champions, King Shocks, the leader in off-road shock technology.
The all-new 2021 Ford F-150 is available with 7.2 kilowatts of electrical power, in case you ever need your truck to power your kitchen.
Let your queries be known.
Yeah, hi. Instead of letting passengers wrap their arms around us, can we put little handles on our jackets?
Deny.
Can you imagine?
I want a new nickname. Can you guys start calling me Snake?
No, Brian.
Denied.
How about we all get quotes to see if we can save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer?
Approved.
Cool. Hey, if Brian's not going to be Snake, can I be Snake?
No.
Said the man who feel him a fool, or he be the wise man. For the man who don't think he's a fool, he control his destiny, for he's too good for himself. For himself, for himself. Oh, I need.
Business in the front, business in the back. The all-new 2021 Ford F-150 with new available interior and tailgate work surfaces.